The year was 2025. It was a time of great anticipation, a time of whispered hopes. Across Cameroon, people yearned for something new. They looked for a sign. Professor Dr. Eyong Simon saw this yearning. He felt it deep within his bones. He knew that change was not just a wish, it was a necessity. It was a responsibility that called to him. He understood the weight of expectation from his people. He knew the path ahead would not be simple. In that pivotal period, specifically within the span of January to December 2025, an idea began to take solid form. This idea was ESDO, the Empowerment and Sustainable Development Organization. It was more than just an acronym, it was a promise whispered in the hearts of many. Professor Simon envisioned an organization that would stand as a testament to what could be achieved. He dreamed of a body that would uplift and empower. This was the very beginning of a long journey. The air itself seemed to buzz with the potential for transformation. ESDO was not conceived in a vacuum of abstract thought. It was born from a profound understanding of the struggles faced by ordinary people. It was a direct response to the silent cries for justice. Professor Simon, a man of deep intellect and deeper empathy, meticulously laid the groundwork. He gathered a team of like-minded individuals. They shared his passion. They shared his unwavering commitment to serve. The founding of ESDO was not merely an administrative act. It was an act of profound faith. Faith in the people. Faith in the possibility of a better tomorrow. It was a declaration that even in challenging times, hope could blossom. This new organization was a tiny seed then, but it held within it the potential for a mighty forest, a forest of opportunity, a forest of renewed dignity for many. This was the dawn of ESDO. A new chapter was about to be written. Before ESDO fully bloomed, a significant event unfolded. Professor Dr. Eyong Simon stood for election. He sought the presidency of ESFA. His message resonated widely. People from all walks of life listened. They heard his plans. They saw his sincerity. He spoke of a future where fairness was not a privilege. He spoke of a future where leadership meant service. The people believed in him. They cast their votes with hope in their hearts. He, along with his executive members, emerged victorious. It was a moment of triumph. The victory, however, was short-lived. A shadow fell upon the celebrations. Professor Simon and his elected team were denied their rightful office. The reasons given were complex. Some whispered it was because his ideas were too bold, too transformative for the established order. His vision for ESFA was one of radical transparency. He planned for accountability that would shake comfortable foundations. This was perhaps too much for those who preferred the old ways. The rejection was a bitter pill to swallow for many. This moment could have been an ending. It could have been a point of despair. For Professor Simon, it was profound disappointment. Yet, within that disappointment, a new resolve began to stir. The rejection was not a full stop. It became a comma. It became a turning point. The very ideas that led to his exclusion from ESFA were not abandoned. They were too precious. They were too vital. They held the key to the future he still passionately believed in. Instead of succumbing to bitterness, Professor Simon saw an opportunity. A different path emerged from the ashes of this political setback. If the existing structures were resistant to change, then a new structure had to be built, a structure founded on the very principles that had been deemed too challenging. This rejection, so painful at the time, inadvertently became the fertile ground. It was the soil from which ESDO would truly and powerfully grow. His spirit was not broken, it was forged anew. The sting of the ESFA rejection did not linger as defeat. Instead, it transformed into fuel, a powerful, determined energy. Professor Dr. Eyong Simon channeled this energy. He focused it with precision. He knew his vision for a better society was still valid. It was more urgent than ever. Thus, the Empowerment and Sustainable Development Organization, ESDO, became the direct inheritor of those powerful ideals. It became the new vessel for his unwavering commitment. It was a phoenix rising. ESDO's mission was carved from this experience. It was clear, it was resolute. The primary goal was to reach out, to help and support underserved individuals, to lift communities that had been forgotten or neglected. Professor Simon understood that true development begins with the people. It begins with addressing their most fundamental needs. He sought to build bridges where walls had stood. He aimed to bring light where shadows had persisted for far too long. A cornerstone of ESDO's philosophy became the unwavering promotion of transparency. And with it, accountability. Professor Simon believed that those in positions of power, especially elected officials, must answer to the people. They must operate in the open. This principle, perhaps too radical for ESFA, found its home at the heart of ESDO. The organization would not just advocate for these values, it would embody them in all its actions. It would lead by example. The organization was therefore established to be a beacon, a guide for others to follow. ESDO's mission was broad yet focused. It aimed to provide tangible support to those in dire need. It sought to work tirelessly for the betterment of society as a whole. It was not just about alleviating suffering in the present. It was about building a foundation for a more just and equitable future. A future where every voice mattered. A future where every individual had the chance to thrive. A particularly poignant focus within ESDO's mission is the youth of Cameroon, especially those young souls caught in the crossfire of conflict. The ongoing turmoil in the southwest and northwest regions has cast a long, dark shadow. It has stolen futures. It has silenced laughter. Many young Cameroonians in these areas have been brutally deprived of their education, their schools closed, their dreams deferred. Professor Simon saw their plight with a heavy heart. He knew something had to be done. ESDO therefore carries a special mandate, a sacred duty to reach out to these young people, to offer them a lifeline. The deprivation of education is not just a loss of learning, it is a loss of hope. It is a wound on the future of the nation. ESDO aims to heal this wound, one student, one opportunity at a time. The organization is committed to finding ways to bring education back into their lives, to reignite the spark of curiosity and ambition. The support ESDO intends to provide is not abstract, it is concrete, it is practical. This means creating safe learning spaces, it means providing educational materials, it means supporting teachers who brave difficult circumstances, it means offering vocational training for those who need skills for immediate employment. The goal is to empower these young individuals, to give them the tools they need not just to survive, but to build meaningful lives for themselves and their communities. Ultimately, ESDO's work with young Cameroonians is an investment in peace. It is an investment in the nation's healing. By offering education and opportunity, ESDO aims to counter the despair that conflict breeds. It seeks to nurture a generation of informed, skilled and engaged citizens. Citizens who will contribute to a more stable and prosperous Cameroon. The journey is long, the challenges are immense, but the spirit of ESDO, born of resilience and driven by compassion, shines brightly. It offers a promise of change, a promise of a brighter dawn.